After the company's bankruptcy, I was reluctantly transformed into the canary of my fiercest rival. He imprisoned me, subjecting me to relentless humiliation. He even forcibly marked me, an alpha like himself. Yet it was only when an unfamiliar ecstasy surged within me that I realized. He is not an alpha at all. Rather, he is an enigma capable of impregnating me. I found myself entranced by the 2 crimson lines. It was utterly absurd. I am an alpha, even after being marked by him for half a year. And despite the undeniable sensations stirring within me, I never imagined it would escalate to this point. This child cannot be kept. Rising to my feet, I returned to the bedroom to change into attire suitable for venturing outside. Hu Jingshin watched me closely. The servants in this villa were merely extensions of his surveillance. Even the entrance code was changed daily. I had attempted to sneak away before, but each time, he would catch me and subject me to prolonged torment. The kind that left me unable to rise from bed the following day, forced to listen to him whispering in my ear, "Do not try again. You cannot escape." This time, I must exercise greater caution. The corridor was eerily quiet, with faint voices drifting up from downstairs. I tread lightly, finally discerning the figures below. Had Hu Jingshin not gone to the company today? He was on a phone call, his voice carrying its usual coldness. As for the arranged marriage, I have no objections. My steps faltered. Set for next month? That is acceptable. I have reviewed the other party's information. Their family background is suitable. No need to arrange a special meeting. A brief encounter before the wedding will suffice. An arranged marriage. I should have anticipated this. And what about me? For the past half year, I had been kept like a pet in this house. Now he was to marry. What was I to do? A wave of nausea surged within me, even more intense than before. I covered my mouth and hastily retreated to the bedroom. Just then, my phone vibrated. It was a message from Hu Jingshin. "Come down." I squeezed my eyes shut, reluctantly changing back into that silk nightgown. As I descended the stairs, Hu Jingshin lounged on the sofa, perusing documents. Upon hearing my footsteps, he lifted his gaze. His eyes lingered on me for several seconds before he set aside his work and patted his lap. "Come here." I remained still. He raised an eyebrow but did not press further. I understood that prolonging the standoff served no purpose. I had attempted to resist in the past, but he possessed many means to compel my compliance. I approached and settled onto his lap. No sooner had I done so than his arm encircled me, drawing me into his embrace. "Zhang Yanli, why do you smell so delightful?" His breath, warm and lingering, brushed against my neck. My body tensed instantaneously, my nails nearly sinking into my palms. His nonchalant voice whispered in my ear. "You haven't had much of an appetite lately, have you? Should we visit the hospital?" Panic seized my heart, and I shook my head vehemently. "No need. It's probably just the heat. I simply lack appetite." If he were to discover this matter, my dignity would be irrevocably shattered. "Really?" He bore into my eyes. I averted my gaze, unable to meet his stare, my heart racing. After a few moments, he chuckled softly. "All right, if you say there is no need, then so be it. Shall we engage in other activities? Perhaps it might stimulate your appetite." His heated fingertips ventured beneath the hem of my nightgown. I bit my lip, acutely aware of my body's response. This uncontrollable reaction filled me with a shame so profound I wished for death. "Hu Jingshin." I gritted my teeth, striving to keep my voice steady. "What are we to do moving forward?" He paused, lifting his gaze to meet mine. "What do you mean, what to do? We can't continue like this. And you, why? Is being with me so dreadful?" He gently caressed the nape of my neck. "You need not toil away at a mountain of documents every day, exhausting yourself. I transfer millions to you each month. What more could you desire?" I pressed my lips together, remaining silent. "Or do you feel it insufficient? How much do you wish for? Speak freely. After all, indulging in such delightful company is worth a bit of expenditure." Silence. I could no longer hold back. My voice laced with indignation. He merely laughed. "What is this? Who was it last time, crying and begging me for more? You cried out so sweetly. Now you feign modesty?" Just then, a faint sound of footsteps echoed from the staircase. My body instantly tensed, and I pushed him away. "Not here. Someone is coming." In the next instant, he swept me up into his arms. "Very well, then let us retreat to the bedroom." He leaned down, whispering in my ear. "This time, let us make your cries even sweeter." As we passed the staircase, the butler kept his head bowed. I buried my face in Hu Jingshin's neck. Shame and fury threatened to engulf me, yet I could do nothing but allow him to carry me back to that room saturated with his pheromones. His actions remained devoid of restraint. Terrifyingly, I seemed to have grown accustomed to it. In certain moments, my body would respond before my mind could intervene. I loathed this version of myself. I was an alpha, yet I found myself ensnared in another's pheromones. In those hazy moments, I would even contemplate, if this could obliterate the child within me, perhaps it would be a blessing. But the child proved remarkably resilient. Days passed, and aside from occasional waves of nausea, there were no adverse reactions. That afternoon, I reclined on the living room sofa, thumbing through a financial magazine. I heard movement at the entrance. Hu Jingshin had returned. He carried with him a hint of sweet floral fragrance, unmistakably an Omega's pheromone. My fingers tightened around the magazine. Without needing to think, I understood it was likely his arranged marriage prospect. He had mentioned the wedding was set for next month. Time was indeed scarce for me. I could not remain here. He had only locked me away to humiliate me. Now that he had a legitimate fiancée, it was time for me as his plaything to be discarded. My thoughts spiraled chaotically, drifting back to the past. For I met Hu Jingshin during university. He had always engaged in reckless behavior. The most outrageous incident occurred at a public event when he boldly declared before a crowd, "Jiang Yanli is so beautiful, yet she is an alpha, what a pity." At that moment, I either ignored him or frowned in disdain, chastising him for his madness. Subsequently, our respective companies frequently clashed. Regardless of the project, if I showed interest, he would invariably insert himself. The competition was often trivial, devoid of significant stakes. More often than not, I simply found it tedious and irritating, until the day of the scandal when the Jiang family crumbled overnight. Houses, cars, anything that could be seized was confiscated. My father was imprisoned, my mother took her own life. The illegitimate children scattered in fear, and I became a pariah, shunned by all. That day, Hu Jingshin sought me out. He stood before me, looking down with an air of superiority, asking if I wished to accompany him. Naturally, I refused. Even in the direst of circumstances, I retained my pride. Yet he offered me no room for rejection. That very night, he brought me back to this villa and forcibly marked me. It was only when I felt that peculiar sensation of total domination coursing through me that I realized he was not an alpha but an enigma. Later, he leaned against the bedpost, observing me, and remarked, "Jiang Yanli, you are now penniless, and no one dares to assist you. What prospects await you outside?" He continued. He was right in a sense. Yet I could not yield. I had struggled and resisted, only to find myself subjected to his complete possession. Eventually, I grew weary and acquiesced. But I never anticipated we would conceive a child. I never anticipated that he would be getting married so soon. Jing Gushen approached, settled beside me, and effortlessly wrapped his arm around my waist. The sweet scent of Omega enveloped my senses, causing a pang in my stomach. "What are you thinking about?" he asked, leaning down to plant a kiss on my cheek. I turned my head away, murmuring, "Nothing." He chuckled in a cryptic manner, his palm sliding forward to rest on my lower abdomen. I stiffened. Had I been discovered? Fortunately, his fingers lingered only for a few seconds before continuing their descent. "I can't shake the feeling that you've put on a bit of weight lately." The flicker of panic in my heart dissipated, and I managed a faint smile. "What? Are you dissatisfied with me?" Suddenly, Hu Jingshin flipped me onto the sofa. "How could I be? I find you utterly delightful." His hand slipped beneath the hem of my nightgown, his calloused fingertips eliciting an involuntary shiver from me. He seemed pleased by my reaction, lingering on the inner thigh, his voice low and husky. "Jiang Yanli, you've become much more obedient than before." I averted my gaze, yet my body betrayed me, igniting with warmth. His kisses trailed from the corner of my lips to my neck, then to that sensitive gland. "Do you remember the first time I marked you?" I bit my lip, attempting to ignore him, but his subsequent actions shattered my resolve, and I could no longer contain myself. My voice trembled. You're getting married." Silence enveloped the living room. He lifted his eyelids. "What does marriage have to do with you? You just need to stay by my side and let me take good care of you." Taken aback, I realized that in his eyes, I was indeed merely a pampered pet. Anger surged within me, and I struggled to push him away. "No, stop." He pressed down on my waist, His tone firm, "Don't make a fuss." The more I resisted, the harsher his grip became. Eventually, I was exhausted and could only acquiesce to his whims, my eyes burning with unshed tears. I never expected that after laying my feelings bare, he would remain utterly indifferent. In the days that followed, I ceased to harbor any expectations from Ho Jingshin. He continued to return each day, engaging in those intimate acts. I remained silent until the wedding drew near. On the eve of the wedding, he still resided at the villa. Just before sleep, he leaned in as usual, but I turned my head to evade his kiss. "Let us skip it today." In the darkness, I could not discern his expression. Even if I refused, what significance did it hold? After all, my will was inconsequential. Yet this time, he merely reached out to tousle my hair and placed a gentle kiss on my forehead. "Are you tired? Sleep." That night, he did not touch me. The next morning, as I watched him dress, I suddenly spoke up. "I want to go too." His hand paused as he tied his tie, raising an eyebrow. "What for?" "It's dull. I want to see."
To witness ho es grandeur.
"Do you really want to see?" I nodded. He approached, pinching my cheek playfully. "All right, I'll take you. But you must behave." The wedding venue was set in a sprawling countryside estate. A grand affair. Clad in the suit Ho Jingshin had prepared for me, I stood in a corner. It wasn't too long before someone recognized me. I assentí that the one from the Jiang family?
Jiang Yanli.
"What is he doing here?" Whispers filled the air. A mixture of curiosity, pity, and unabashed disdain. Little did they know, I was now a canary kept by Ho Jingshin. This relationship had always thrived in the shadows. Ho Jingshin quickly sensed the stir around me. He pushed through the crowd and walked directly towards me. The murmurs ceased abruptly. He stood before me, smoothing out my slightly wrinkled collar. "You'll be on stage soon, so wait here for me." I nodded. He gazed at me for a moment longer before returning to his socializing, leaving the onlookers even more intrigued. I was waiting for the right moment. From the instant I decided to leave, I had been plotting. The wedding, bustling with guests, presented the perfect opportunity. I had been prudent with the money he provided, stashing it in a bank account he was unaware of. I had amassed nearly 10 million, enough to facilitate my escape. As the ceremony commenced, guests congregated at the main stage. Now was my chance. I didn't dare run too swiftly, striving to appear nonchalant as I made my way toward a side exit. My heart raced, palms clammy with sweat. I traversed the garden, climbing over a not-too-high fence. I slipped into a taxi, not daring to delay even for a moment. Upon arriving at the airport, I purchased a plane ticket using the false identity I had secretly prepared. As the plane ascended, a sense of reality washed over me. I had truly escaped. Just yesterday, I had been trapped in the villa, and now I was soaring towards a place devoid of him. I settled in a foreign city. In the hospital, the doctor reviewed my test results, repeatedly confirming them with disbelief. "You're an alpha?" "Yes." "Alpha pregnancies are exceedingly rare, especially when conceived naturally after being marked by an enigma. Is it possible to terminate?" The doctor frowned. "The risks are substantial. Your reproductive tract developed postnatally, and its structure is inherently unstable. Forcibly terminating the pregnancy could lead to severe hemorrhaging, potentially impairing your physiological functions permanently and resulting in long-term complications." I fell silent. Whether I could have a child was inconsequential to me. However, if it meant irreversible damage to my body, I could not accept it. I had already lost so much. I could not afford to jeopardize my health as well. Thus, I relinquished that thought. Months later, the child was born, a boy. At 6 months, I took him abroad. With the remaining funds, I established a modest trading company. Occasionally, I would catch glimpses of Ho Jingshin in the news. He had married that Omega successfully. Following the union of our families, the Ho enterprise expanded significantly, and he emerged as a pivotal figure in the business world. In media reports, he often appeared alongside his Omega, sometimes captured in shared smiles that suggested a deep affection. Seeing this, I breathed a sigh of relief. This was how it should be. He had his life and I had mine. Yet, in the stillness of midnight, memories would resurface. I would recall the ferocity with which he pinned me down, the terror of being utterly controlled, the nights when my dignity was crushed by his myriad ways of possession. But I had to admit, he had provided me with a chance to breathe. He had offered me refuge in my most desperate times, even if that refuge felt more like a gilded cage. Therefore, I couldn't say I hated him. He had humiliated me, yet he had also helped me. Now, we owed nothing to one another, and it was for the best. 5 years flew by. My company abroad gradually began to thrive. Although it paled in comparison to the Jiang family's former grandeur, it gained a small measure of recognition locally. No one knew of my past. They merely viewed me as a successful single father. Whenever curiosity arose about my child's mother, I simply stated we had long parted ways, never offering further explanation. The matter of pregnancy was a stain I wished to avoid for the rest of my life. My child was named Jiang Yan. As he grew, his features became increasingly distinct. The resemblance of his brows and eyes to those of Hua Jingshan occasionally unsettles me. Once, he was sprawled on the carpet with a paintbrush in hand, absorbed in his artwork. As I stood nearby observing him, an inexplicable agitation washed over me, prompting me to slam the documents I held onto the table, my voice dropping. "Sit properly, do not lie on the floor." Startled, he dropped the brush and looked up at me, his eyes misty, softly murmuring, "Father, I was wrong." In that instant, my heart softened once more. I approached him, picked up the brush and gently rubbed his cheek. "Be more careful next time." He nodded, straightened himself, and resumed painting, though his movements were notably subdued, lacking the earlier abandon. During such moments, I often feel a pang of guilt. Jiang Yan has a rather cool disposition. He seldom speaks but is remarkably perceptive. I am acutely aware that my absence in his life is due to my inability to spend time with him and provide the affection he deserves. During busy periods at the office, I frequently work late into the night, so I hired a nanny to tend to his needs. The nanny informs me that when I am away, he always eats and sleeps obediently, occasionally asking, "When will father return?" On one occasion, I was on a business trip to a neighboring city, originally planning to return in 3 days, but due to unforeseen issues with the project, I was delayed until the 5th day. Upon entering the house, the nanny mentioned that he had not slept well for the last 2 nights. When I walked into his room, he lay in bed clutching the small bear I had bought for him. Hearing my movements, he groggily opened his eyes. Upon seeing me, his eyes brightened slightly, but he merely whispered, "Father, you're back." "Yes, I am back," I replied, sitting at the edge of his bed and stroking his head. He nestled closer to me, clutching the hem of my shirt, and quickly fell asleep again. Watching his sleeping face, I found it difficult to articulate my feelings. Over the years, he has been my soul tether. Yet, each time I gaze upon his face, so reminiscent of Hua Jingshan's, I cannot help but recall those days of confinement. However, more often, it is his soft call of father that reassures me that perhaps bringing him into this world was not such a mistake after all. Recently, my company commenced a collaboration with a local enterprise, led by an Omega named Wen Jian. Our first encounter was at a gala, where he approached me with a cheerful smile, raising his glass in a toast while expressing his admiration for my name. As we interacted more, I learned that he is the son of the owner of the collaborating firm, a few years my junior. It seemed he harbored an interest in me, having subtly suggested on several occasions that he found an air of comforting charm about me. Today, after concluding our discussions, he cornered me in the parking lot. "Jiang, do you have time this evening? I would like to invite you to dinner." "No, I have a child to care for at home," I replied, a reason I have often relied upon. Since becoming a father, it has become remarkably convenient to decline others. The smile on Wen Jian's face dimmed slightly, again with the child. "Jiang, is this how you treat all Omegas?" His fingertips inadvertently brushed against the back of my hand as he spoke. I discreetly distanced myself. "Mr. Wen, I simply do not have any plans in that regard at the moment." "Oh, does temporarily imply that there may be possibilities in the future?"
I am sorry.
I Haven-T contemplated such matters. A fleeting look of resignation crossed Wen Jian's eyes. "All right, I won't press you further. Let us leave it at that. I shall see you next time." I nodded. He turned to leave, his steps light, glancing back to wave at me as he reached his car. I watched as his vehicle exited the parking lot, then averted my gaze. It was only after settling into my car that I noticed a warmth enveloping me, accompanied by a familiar tingling sensation. I recalled, somewhat belatedly, that there had been a faint sweetness lingering in the air moments prior. Pressing my fingertips against my temples, I frowned. Was this merely an illusion? Although an Omega-S pheromones can influence an alpha, they typically do not exert such a potent effect, especially for one like me, marked by enigma, who should be less sensitive to the pheromones of ordinary Omegas. Perhaps it was just fatigue weighing heavily on me. I dismissed the thought, starting the engine, eager to return home. Just as I turned the corner, my assistant called, "Jiang, we just received word that a new partner has arrived unexpectedly. They wish to meet with you and are already waiting at the office." "Understood. I'm on my way." I suppressed my discomfort and redirected my car towards the office. I had endured greater fatigue during my time in the country, so this minor unease was nothing. Yet the warmth began to intensify, and the glands at the nape of my neck started to throb. I rolled down the window, the rushing cold air offering slight relief from the restlessness. As I pushed open the conference room door, I was still mulling over the new partner's profile. My gaze swept over the individuals at the table, abruptly halting. How could he be here? Maintaining a facade of composure, I approached and extended my hand. "Hello, I am Jiang Yanli." He stared at me for a few seconds before grasping my hand, his fingertips gently caressing the back of my hand. "Huijingshan." I retracted my hand, my fingertips feeling slightly overheated. Throughout the meeting, I was distracted, my mind elsewhere. Once we finally concluded, I nearly leapt to my feet. "Apologies, I have other matters to attend to, please excuse me." As I reached the doorway, my wrist was suddenly grasped. The grip was firm, unyielding. Huijingshan, still wearing the smile he had shared with others, said, "I'll drive you." "No need, I have my own car." "Don't be ridiculous." He leaned closer, speaking in a tone only we could hear. "There are too many people here." His breath brushed against my ear, carrying the familiar scent of sandalwood, instantly evoking suppressed memories from within me. I froze, half-dragged, half-led by him out the door and into the passenger seat. As the door shut, the outside noise faded away. He did not start the car immediately but turned his head to look at me, his gaze heavy. "After running for so long, was it enjoyable?" I turned my face away. He chuckled softly, gripping my chin. "Jiang Yanli, where do you think you can run to?" The pressure on my chin was painful, and I frowned, struggling. "Let me go." "Let you go only to let you run again?" Huijingshan's breathing grew ragged, his eyes swirling with emotions I could not decipher. I clenched my fists, my palms clammy with sweat. After fleeing for so long, I had once again been found by him. The deliberately forgotten images surged back into my mind, sending a chill through my body. Yet he suddenly spoke, his voice hoarse. "Where is the child?" I pressed my lips tightly together, refusing to answer. "Jiang Yanli, why didn't you tell me about the pregnancy? Isn't Hua already married?" I averted my gaze, my tone flat. "It seems inappropriate to involve myself with someone who is married. I've been divorced for a while. The marriage was merely a matter of family interests. That Omega has his own partner. We were merely fulfilling our respective needs." He paused, his tone grave. "Didn't I tell you? Not to concern yourself with these matters. I will handle them. Such things shouldn't affect us. All you need to do is stay by my side." I felt somewhat bewildered. He had indeed said that before. Was this what he meant? "Well, that doesn't concern you. The child was an accident. Had it not been for health reasons, I wouldn't have kept it." "Jiang Yanli." His grip suddenly tightened on my shoulder. I was about to struggle when a few warm droplets fell onto my face. Looking up, I met Huijingshan's bloodshot eyes. "Damn it!" He turned his head, forcefully wiping his face, his voice thick with emotion. "How dare you say that? That was our child. What right do you have to resent him?" Huijingshan was crying. Why was he crying? In my recollection, he has always been flamboyant, selfish, arrogant, possessing a morbid sense of humor, and utterly shameless, leaving me at a loss. "Why are you crying?" "I am not crying." Huijingshan sniffed. "Jiang Yanli, do you truly wish for me to remain oblivious to your pregnancy? Why? Are you afraid that I will discover you carry my child? Or are you worried that even if you flee, your body will still remember how obedient it was when I marked you?" My ears instantly flushed with heat. "Huijingshan, you are shameless." "Indeed, I am shameless." The desire swirling in his eyes intensified. "I possess even more shamelessness. Would you care to experience it?" His scorching palm slid down to my lower back, and as I struggled to push him away, he held me firmly in place. "Let go of me." "Huijingshan, you..." Before I could finish my sentence, a flurry of delicate kisses descended upon me. He lifted my hips, roughly kneading them. "Do you think running away will do you any good?" He panted, his voice hoarse. "Your body belongs to me, your glands belong to me. Even your reproductive cavity is mine." "Shut up." My eyes brimmed with tears. Hu Jingshun, why must you humiliate me like this? What have I done to deserve your disdain? He abruptly halted his movements. I bloody well like you. Zhang Yanli, can you not see that? I froze instantly. He likes me? From university to the business realm, he has always targeted me, relentlessly pursuing me. Bringing me back to the villa to partake in such humiliating acts, this is called liking? My lips moved, yet I could not utter a single word. Damn, you can't possibly be this oblivious, can you? What makes you think I would engage in such acts with someone I do not like? Am I Hu Jingxin so indiscriminate? Is he not? In my memory, he was always surrounded by admirers, each one obedient to his every command. Back then, everyone claimed Hu Jingxin was a notorious playboy. Zhang Yanli, I have only ever touched you. He fixed his gaze upon me, his breath unsteady. From the moment I laid eyes on you, all I desired was to mark you. Are you insane? I instinctively cursed. Why do you like me? How should I know? Hu Jingxin's Adam's apple bobbed. Liking is just liking. I liked you even when I was still an alpha. You are beautiful, and your lofty demeanor made me want to pin you down and have you begging for me. On the night I transformed into an enigma, I wanted to rush to your office and mark you then and there. I clenched my teeth, unable to bear it any longer. Enough? Stop talking. But I want to talk. Did you not ask me? His hands slipped beneath my shirt, caressing my waist, his breath growing heavier. Your body is soft, softer than anything I have ever touched. When I marked you, your pheromones were sweet. And your voice. When you moan, it is especially melodious, both soft and hoarse. Zhang Yanli, do you know? The more you suppress it, the more beautiful your gasps become, making me want to be even rougher. The glands at the back of my neck burned intensely, and the restlessness within me became increasingly pronounced. Unable to endure any longer, I covered his mouth with my hand. His lips moved beneath my palm, causing me to withdraw sharply. Hu Jingshun's gaze darkened. What? Are you unable to resist so soon? With your pheromones leaking like this? Zhang Yanli, are you begging me to mark you? I am not. Do not put on a brave face. He gently gripped the nape of my neck, his voice low and husky. If you want it, just tell me. I am not denying you. I struggled to push him away, yet my body felt weak. The scent of sandalwood began to overpower the cedar, gradually taking precedence. Resigned, I closed my eyes. Not here. Hu Jingxin drove recklessly. As soon as we entered the room, he could not wait to press me onto the bed. The overwhelming pheromones nearly rendered me incapacitated. I miss you so much, he murmured, kissing my neck, his fingers skillfully exploring. I let out a muffled sound, regaining a semblance of my senses. No, Nian Nian is still waiting for me to return. This was the only excuse I could muster. Having evaded him for 5 years, our reunion had devolved into such a scenario. He paused, his voice softening. Our child is named Nian Nian? I bit my lip, belatedly realizing I had let it slip. Zhang Yanli, why did you choose that name? I just picked it casually, it sounded nice. Liar, you surely cannot forget me. Before I could retort, he swiftly removed his shirt and pressed down on me again. There should be a housekeeper at home, right? Be good. Let us return together. Shall we? No. I pressed against his chest, my voice trembling. I do not want this. Then what do you want? I will return to take suppressants. Hu Jingxin fell silent. Yet the grip on my body showed no sign of loosening. I tentatively pushed him, but he seized my wrist, pinning it above my head. Zhang Yanli, are you serious? His fingers, calloused and firm, pressed against my glands. Your pheromones now are even more potent than when I used to bully you into tears. Do you truly not want my help? My mind was hazy, yet I stubbornly refused. I do not like this. He gently turned my face towards him. The heat of his breath on my neck made my body tremble even more. Is taking suppressants what you prefer? With such a large enigma like me here, you choose that over me? My glands ached intensely, clamoring to be invaded by pheromones. I had never felt this way before. Before being marked by Hu Jingxin, I had never experienced such emotions. An indescribable sense of grievance surged within me. It's all your fault, you bastard. What's wrong? Hu Jingxin's voice grew frantic. Baby, don't cry, I was wrong. He leaned down, kissing me gently, then lifted me to sit on his lap, slowly helping me regain my composure. Be good. I will have someone deliver the suppressants right away, all right? I nodded through my sobs. But as he reached for his phone, I suddenly felt an impulsive urge to stop him. Should I go buy them? But I am not at ease with you alone here, I know. I interrupted him. I do not want the suppressants. Then what do you want? Meeting his concerned gaze, my breath felt scorching. The one who had turned me into this was Hu Shun. Therefore, it should be his responsibility to resolve it. I bit my lip and slowly buried my head into his neck. The rich scent of sandalwood made my head spin. His body was rigid. A deep voice resonated in my ear. Jiang Yanli, what do you want? I bit my lip, remaining silent. If you do not speak, I will not know. I am your enigma. Whatever you desire, I shall provide. Just say it, all right? You are my enigma. And then? Then I sniffled, gently biting the back of his neck, my voice muffled. It hurts here. I want you to kiss it. In the next moment, he flipped me over, pinning me to the bed, his breath heavy. Jiang Yanli, you said it yourself, but do not regret it. Immediately, he kissed me fiercely. The restlessness within me intensified, my reason gradually being consumed, leaving only primal desire. He remained as fierce as ever, his movements filled with urgency and ferocity. The familiar pleasure engulfed my entire being. Even my toes tensed with anticipation. Do you know how I spent these years? He bit my earlobe, his voice gravelly. Every day, surrounded by your things in the villa, I thought of you to the point of madness. Jiang Yanli coaxed me. I buried my face in the pillow, silent. All right then, evaluate my skills. Have I deteriorated? As he spoke, he increased his force. A soft whimper escaped unexpectedly. Pervert. Curse me some more. You bastard. The pleasure within me built up, and I bit my lip tightly, fearing any further sounds might escape. He chuckled softly. At this moment, it feels as if I've marked you all over again, just like in college. What a thrill. Outside, night deepened, yet the warmth within the room lingered. In a haze of consciousness, I found myself enveloped by familiar pheromones. What should have incited disgust instead offered me an inexplicable sense of comfort. I lost track of how many days I had spent at the hotel. I only remembered the prolonged sensitive period, being entangled by him day and night. Ultimately, he carried me into the car. It wasn't until I settled in that I remembered to call my aunt. I had told her I was on a business trip for a few days, while in reality, I was entangled with Hu Jingxin. Just thinking about it made me feel utterly shameless. Hu Jingxin was driving, his tone teasing. Are you angry again? I ignored him. Oh, silence means you're upset. What's wrong? You were fine just a moment ago. You were so eager this morning, wouldn't he let me stop no matter what? My ears flushed, and I interrupted, annoyed. You're not allowed to say that. He chuckled softly, no longer teasing me, and rolled down the window a bit. The air fell silent for a few seconds before he suddenly spoke. Jiang Yanli, do you really dislike me? I was taken aback. Why do you ask that? I just want to know what kind of person I am in your eyes. I want the truth, but I suppose you won't hold back. I pressed my lips together. Yes, I dislike you, but I'm quite grateful to you. Oh, so there's not a shred of fondness? Before I could answer, he laughed. There must be. Regardless of the type of affection, there's certainly some. Once again, he uttered such words. I frowned tightly, turning my face away to avoid him. His tone turned serious. All right, let us talk business. Locking you in the villa before was my fault. You hate me, blame me. I can take it. I deserve it. I was foolish then, blinded by desire, lower than a beast. I turned to look at him, somewhat surprised. Jiang Yanli, you're doing quite well now. The company is thriving, reminiscent of your former self. Did I ever tell you? You look exceptionally beautiful when you work. That's why I always liked coming to see you, just to catch a few glimpses. If you want to see me, let us discuss a collaboration. Not to barge into my project. Well, Hu Jingxin's voice carried a hint of laughter. But I'm a bastard. I enjoy seeing you all flustered. I was momentarily at a loss for words. However, this time I genuinely wish to collaborate with you. For 5 years, I've been seeking news about you, but you've hidden too well. All leads have gone cold. Until last month, by sheer coincidence, I stumbled upon this project. I found it promising, so I took it on, and it turned out to be your company. Tell me, doesn't that seem like fate? Not really, I smirked. I'll concede you have good taste. All right, I'll take that as a compliment. The Maybach came to a smooth stop in front of the villa. Yet, Hu Jingxin seemed reluctant to exit. I glanced at him, hesitating. What's wrong? Can't bear to part with me? No, I just wanted to ask if you'd like to see the child. In the next moment, He suddenly leaned over and planted a heavy kiss on my lips. Good boy, I was waiting for you to say that. I composed myself and opened the door. Jiang Nian was busy stacking blocks on the carpet. Upon seeing me, his eyes lit up. He dropped the wooden piece and ran over, softly calling out father. I smiled, bending down to scoop him up. He seemed to notice Hu Jingshan and timidly added, hello, uncle. Hu Jingshan replied, lowering his gaze, you're called Nian Nian, right? Jiang Nian nodded, snuggling closer to me. Hu Jingshan gently pinched his cheek. So obedient, just like your father. But those eyes and brows are carved from the same mold. When you grow up, you'll surely be just as handsome, exuding an air of dominance. I couldn't help but remove his hand. Yet, Jiang Nian tilted his little face up, looking at Hu Jingshan, then touching his own face, quietly asking, do I look a lot like uncle? Hu Jingshan raised an eyebrow, seriously correcting him, you should call me father. He pointed to me. That's your dad. Understand? Jiang Nian furrowed his brow. Why? Uncle, you're so strange. Not strange. Hu Jingshan took Jiang Nian from my arms, placing his small hand on his own face. Look, we share the same eyebrows and eyes. Thus I am your father. But what's a dad? A father is just a father. A dad is, just as he was about to say something nonsensical, I quickly interrupted. Nian Nian, let us play with the blocks. Jiang Nian's attention immediately shifted to me, and in a sweet voice, he agreed. I sighed in relief, crouching down to pick up a block. Hu Jingshan chuckled softly, joining me on the floor with Jiang Nian. Due to the collaboration between our companies, Hu Jingshan had been here for nearly half a year. During this time, when Jian often came to visit me, several times they happened to run into each other. On the third occasion, Hu Jingshan directly kissed me in front of Wen Jian. I couldn't recall what they said. I only knew that when Jian ran away with a flushed face. After that, he ceased his pursuit of me. Hu Jingshan, on the other hand, frequently lingered around, always equipped with his own justifications, whether it was about project handovers or simply coming to spend time with Jiang Nian. At first, Jiang Nian timidly hid behind me, but Hu Jingshan was incredibly patient, drawing with him, taking him out to play, weaving nonsensical tales. Eventually, Jiang Nian began to smile secretly. Later, he would even voluntarily present his drawings to him. One day, upon returning from the office, I entered to the sound of sweet giggles. Hu Jingshan had Jiang Nian perched on his shoulder, running around the sofa. Upon seeing me, Jiang Nian slid down from his shoulder and dove into my embrace. Father, I've missed you so much. I smiled, adjusting his clothes. Didn't we just share a kiss this morning? Hu Jingshan leaned in with a beaming smile. Jiang Yanli, I missed you more. Why didn't you give me a kiss? I lowered my gaze, pinching Jiang Yan's cheek while my ears felt slightly warm. Hu Jingshan chuckled softly, crouching down to Jiang Yan's level. Nian Nian, now that dad is back, isn't it time for bed? Jiang Yan nodded and jumped into Hu Jingshan's arms. Good night, Uncle Hua. He then looked up with a smile. Good night, father. I leaned down and kissed the top of his head. Go on, sleep early. Watching Jiang Yan obediently head into the bedroom, I withdrew my gaze. The next moment, I was unexpectedly met with a warm, wet sensation on my lips. Wait. As I spoke, Hu Jingshan's tongue surged in, entwining with mine. My ears flushed, and I weakly pushed against his shoulder, only to be abruptly pulled into his embrace. He tilted his head to deepen the kiss, pressing me against the sofa, making me straddle his lap. It wasn't until I felt utterly breathless from the kiss that he pulled back slightly, his voice husky. Have you ever thought about returning to the country? I softened my breathing. What's there to go back for? To take a look. The villa we lived in, I've kept it just as it was. It's unchanged since you left. I gradually steadied my breath, catching a glimpse of his flushed earlobes from the corner of my eye. He hesitated for a moment, his voice tinged with a hint of grievance. You don't truly despise that place, do you? Not exactly, I replied. That's a relief. After all, it's our love nest, a repository of countless unforgettable nights. I could not help but tease him lightly, pinching him. Be quiet. He chuckled softly, then inquired, so tell me, do you harbor any affection for me? Once more, he posed this question. Over the past 6 months, he had asked it no fewer than 800 times. Before I could respond, he continued unabated. If you do, upon our return, we shall wed. With your flourishing career, standing beside me, no one would dare to speak ill of you. Moreover, we could expand our market domestically. Wouldn't he that be splendid? His tone grew increasingly earnest. And as for those who once looked down upon you, you return, and we shall show them all. I was amused by his antics, though my laughter gradually waned. I gazed at him in silence, my thoughts unarticulated. In truth, I could not precisely define my feelings for him. Growing up amidst a tangled web of familial relations, I had always regarded kinship with detachment, let alone love. To me, this relationship felt like a fateful entanglement. Hu Jingxin had bestowed upon me an alternative life. Without him, my path might have diverged entirely, undoubtedly more arduous, yet perhaps not devoid of stability. Yet now, as an alpha, I found myself bearing his child. The shame of yesteryears was indeed palpable. My body had long since memorized his pheromones. The moment he drew near, I would helplessly soften. Could this physical affinity be deemed affection? Since his arrival, I had noticed that Nian Nian was considerably happier, a fact I could not overlook. Unbeknownst to me, I had begun to harbor a subtle anticipation for his presence. Did this feeling qualify as affection? I was uncertain. After a prolonged silence, I finally whispered, "You may come to visit Nian Nian." This perhaps was the clearest answer I could provide. He paused momentarily, a smile gradually blooming in his eyes. "I understand now."
Jiang Yanli.
"Are you implying that I may pursue you? Is that correct?" I offered no rebuttal. He reached out to tousle my hair. "Then you shall wait. My courtship will undoubtedly leave you breathless. Perhaps it was the exhaustion from work, or perhaps it was the warmth of his embrace. But I found myself thinking that perhaps there was nothing wrong with this after all. Between Hu Jingshan and me, we had skipped over too many steps. Thus, it was indeed time to deliberate carefully from this point onward. The story concludes here. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to our next tale.